I just wanted to put up that AI image of the cave girl fighting the T-Rex. My daughter came in and she said, why are you using AI? You're an artist. You should be against that. And when I am against it, but it is kind of funny that you can just type in Frazetta style redheaded cave girl with a spear fighting a Jurassic Park style T-Rex, and that generates that in like 10 seconds or less. It's not particularly good. It looks more like a Boris painting. Let me show you that again. The girl looks more like a Boris painting than a Frazetta painting, but it's there, so I might as well exploit it a little bit for fun, and I almost said S and giggles, but I caught myself. This is kind of an episode of AD 2026, which is the throwback to, I don't know, 3 years ago when David Williams and myself started streaming together for the sole purpose of actually getting more exposure for David. And then it turned into Graybeards, of course, which we do now every Wednesday at 2:00 Pacific time, right here on this channel, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if David's around or not. I tried to call him and got no answer. So he may be out running around. And I was like, well, I got to go. I got to stream regardless if he's available or not. So this is just A today, and it may be AD in a little while if David shows up. If not, it's just going to be A. So that's fine. That's fine. We'll manage by ourselves. That's totally cool. I'm doing, of course, all of this extra streaming. I used to do this all the time. My wife was just like, will you stop streaming? And I'm like, it's like almost like an addiction. I don't even have anything to say. And I turn on the camera and go, here I am. Well, it hasn't really changed much, has it? But so, but I am promoting a campaign called Barbaric Adventures. And if you can see my cover right back there, I painted it and everything. So I'm doing more of these live streams to continue to promote, get the word out. I'm kind of at a crossroads right now, though, with what I can actually show you guys. I have shown 3 pages from the story. I can't really show you me working on every page because then why would you buy the comic, right? And you'd know what happens before you get the comic. So I'm reluctant to like do a page live. Um, so what I'm doing is sketches that are related to the project. And then if they turn out, then I'll put them up on the campaign for sale. Then that money would then go back into the campaign and help produce the book. So I guess it all sort of is connected in that way. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do today. I've got another kind of Frazetta-esque sketch idea. You think I'm wearing enough clothes? But I just, as soon as it gets warm here for a day, you take the coat off and then it gets rainy and cold and then I'm freezing again. So I'm just gonna keep this on until we get like a month of sunshine, which probably won't be till July. So anyway, I'm gonna check the chat real quick here. Major Glitch is here from across the pond. Thank you for joining us. Justin Soto, Pantheon 7900, JP Roca, oh gosh, Spam Thropocorus. I'm not even sure if that's even close. I think it's close. Bibliobob, where have you been at? I haven't seen Bibliobob for a long time. He used to be a regular back in the Kelsey days on Graybeard's studio because Kelsey was the one who could pronounce the name. But I finally got it. Thanks for joining us. Marcus Killigrew, purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge. Leg Kick is here because Leg Kick is always here. And let's see, who do you got? Bob and KC says, Aaron, are you okay? Do I not look okay? I even put the filter on to make me look better. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Bob and KC, Kansas City. I haven't been to Kansas City in a while. I used to go there for the not the Spectre show, but the Spectrum show. I mean, I went there as an artist, but I only went there to buy like fantasy artists art because those guys that I would only see at that show. They don't go to comic book shows, but they did go to the Spectrum Fantasy Art Show. And so, you know, some of my favorite illustrators would always be there and I always pick up something from them. So it was never really a for-profit show for me because any money I made, I then went and spent. I keep the money on the floor. That's what I say. Marcus is saying it's very nice here in Charlotte. Now, see, I know, Marcus, I knew you're East Coast, but you're Charlotte North, so you're right near Andy Smith. Gary Bruce says, I got your gift. Hope to see you soon. Did I send you a gift? Are you talking to me? Because if I did, I don't remember, but you're welcome. I honestly don't remember. So that goes back to the question that Bob and KC said is, Aaron, are you okay? I may not be okay. I'm trying to get into SummerCon. We'll see if it happens. Let's see. JB Roca says, White Sox home opener postponed till tomorrow, thunderstorms. It's funny about baseball. Baseball has the longest season, or at least it seems to. At least it stretches out over the longest period of seasons. It's like you start early spring when it's still cold and rainy. Then it gets into the summer and it's fine. And then it goes into the fall and it gets cold and rainy again. So I think they 106, what did they play? 167 games, 162 games, something in that neighborhood. It seems like a lot of games to me, but I only watch baseball in the playoffs and when it gets interesting. Occasionally, if there's a Mariners game on the radio, I'll listen to that if I'm drawing and I need something. But I find it difficult to be a fan of every sport. It's just too time consuming. So I have kind of thrown myself into college football, and that's sort of where I have stayed. Used to be a big NBA fan, but the NBA is so freaking woke now. It just drives me nuts. But I do watch occasionally, and I did watch the NCAA tournament. But if you spend all day on Saturday watching college football, you can't exactly do that every day of the week. So I've kind of, as the years gone by, I've sort of pared myself down. My dad, he would watch like women's softball, you know, if it was on TV. And I'd go over to the house and he'd be sitting there in the recliner watching women's. I go, Dad, what are you doing? But it was like anything that was sports he would watch. So not that there's anything wrong with women's softball. I'm just saying that, you know, that when you're watching that on the regular, you're probably addicted or something. Marcus Killiger says, try to watch every game. I know as much about baseball as comics. I'm that way I used to be that way about sports in general. I do keep in touch with everything. So like when someone says a name, I'll like, oh yeah, that guy plays for whatever, but I don't really pay that close attention. Like I said, this year I haven't even paid that close attention to the NBA, and we've got a team here in Portland. So anyway, enough about sports. Aaron, I would have took you for a cricket player. It's very little effort. Now, I was a basketball player back in the day, but that was a long time ago. And a shoulder surgery, before a shoulder surgery, and before old age set in. That's exactly right. I expect full credit for kindness I don't even remember giving. It's true. So I don't know if Gary's going to come back and wait a minute. It was the one I got you, wise guy. Okay, now hang on a second. Oh, it says I got you. No. I got you your gift. Hope to see you soon. I thought it says I got your gift. I see. So Gary got something for me. So I can't take credit for that then. Thank you, Gary. I don't know what it is. If I'm understanding your your message correctly. Life is going by too fast for me. I can't keep up. Gail says it's always back in the day with you. It is. When you get to be 62, everything is back in the day at this point. But I do have an outlook. I do still have a future left. I think when I get to 70, it's really going to be all back in the day, right? I still feel like I'm a young old man instead of an old man. So I'm just like, I just got out of middle age and just creeping into old age. So, but I can still draw. So that means I haven't reached old age completely. There's iodine 74. All right. So let's draw a little while we're chatting, if you guys don't mind. I am young at heart to a degree. I don't even know. I'm perpetually grumpy. And what can I say? That's what old men do, is be perpetually grumpy. So I guess can't really fight it. So I'm going to work on this today, but again, I'm going to show you guys. I'm sure all of you have seen this, but I'm so pleased with it. I want to keep showing it. So, that's kind of a Dan Lawless comment, right? I really like this. I think this is really good. So this is page 1 of Barbaric Adventures, at least Primal Zone, which is a Barbaric Adventure story. Who wants to bet that's David Williams? Oh, he's in the back. I see ya. I see ya. Hey, what's up? How long have you been in the back room?
An hour.
Yeah, you have not. All right, I was just showing off my pages that I'm, Dan Lawlessing. I'm quite proud of myself.
As you should be.
That's page 1. Page 2. Nice little dinosaur action there. And then this is about, and I say about, this is about page 10, I think. I've got the whole plot written out. I'm still moving some scenes around. I've got some of the dialogue written, but not all of it. And so I don't have even all the page breakdowns. I have this happened and this happens and this happens kind of thing. And with a little bit more description than that. So this falls right in the end of the first third of the story, probably. So we're right around page 9 or 10. Actually, it has to be even numbered because I want you to turn the page to see this, even though now you've already all seen it, but still. Anyway, so that's, I'm working on that. And page 4 I've been trying to figure out this little jet flyer that our hero has, and I saw some like, anime type inspired tech little rockets and things. And so I've been kind of trying to adapt something that isn't too complicated, but like this looks kind of cool. But trying to draw this from the front, I can't quite figure it out because I only have a side view of it that I found online, something similar to this. So then I started messing around with this, and I think I'm going more in this direction. This one right here, but because I kind of want it to feel kind of retro-y at the same time, like someone took like an old Bel Air or something and turned it into a futuristic jet flyer. So I don't know. I'm still kind of farting around with that design, but I better
go back. I'm still looking at it.
Okay.
Yeah, go full screen. That's the other thing. There you go. I like that the silhouette profile of the center one, because it almost feels like pterodactyl wings.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm trying to figure out what that looks like from the front. So you can see I'm trying to mess around with it down here.
Yeah, you kind of did it.
And so yeah, I'm trying to work this out because it's on the next page. So I got to get this freaking figured out so I can draw the next page. But
yeah.
Anyway, so our hero Taylor Carson has a few tech items that he brought through the portal with him. How long those last? Well, that's another question. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm working on. And then I just working on, like I said, I'm throwing together this little cave girl sketch. And
I think it's more apt to say that it's a hair sketch with a girl attached to it.
Yeah. I'm all about the flowing hair. You know that, man. Like you said, the Prel concentrate is what it's all about for me. In the good old days. All right, so David, I'm going to talk about this. I don't care. You sent me a link to a video where some guy with a beard was ripping on ComicsGate, and then, as fate would have it, of course, my name gets pulled up in this video. It just drives me nuts. Like comparing this campaign to Roquefort's campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, why am I always pulled into this crap? That I never say anything, I never do anything, and yet I am always targeted in these guys when they're like, so they were basically comparing that, Roquefort sort of just kind of drifted away from CG, I guess, because he was one of the original guys, and then he's kind of drifted away, and then his campaign's doing better than mine, which it is. But I'm just like, why is it me? Why am I included in this? So
yeah, it's like you're quiet for the most part, but you get dragged down by other people's disdain for other characters within the stratosphere of, it's crazy.
But anyway, so that's what I want to, encourage people to support this campaign so they won't make videos about how poorly I'm doing anymore.
What you're trying to say is, please buy our book so I won't be in this conversation.
That's right. So they can't make videos about me anymore. The guy did say, though, he goes, Aaron Lopresti, who puts out pretty good books, he said something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, at least he wasn't dissing on me too hard. But it was all, same old stuff that we keep seeing from, I don't really see the value in all this sort of infighting and fracturing, fan base fracturing, and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
it's out of my control. I'm just drawing comics.
Yeah, all I'm trying to do is draw.
That's all I'm trying to do is draw.
Yeah.
this turns out halfway decent, I will I'll put it up on the old campaign.
Oh, so it's going to go up there for sure.
Yes, because it is going to turn out good. Because
unlike that Captain America you did yesterday.
Oh my gosh! Well, costume design is not my strength by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah. And but I'm game, not gay. I'm game to I'll try anything.
That sounds gay.
Yeah, it does. I meant artistically, I will something, So now I did. I tried, and I'm sorry, this is my printing rep. I said, "Where's my quote?" She goes, "Did I not send it to you?"
No, bitch.
Why do you think I'm contacting you if you send it to me? Are you going to draw anything, David, or are you just hanging out?
I'm going to be interviewing you today.
Okay.
What was I going to ask? Oh, you're going to work on this during the show. Oh, cool.
Yeah. You got to do something.
Yeah. Instead of like 10 Conan drawings a night.
Well, I do like drawing this stuff. I know that's probably pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah.
But
we're on the phone and I'm like barely getting through a panel and stuff. He goes, "Oh, I just finished another page, by the way. Oh man, I'm so happy. I'm halfway through this painting." And we're like, this is within the same sentence, in conversation. I'm like, sheesh, man.
It's yeah, well,
where's this young man energy coming from?
Dude, it's called I got bills.
I got bills too, but damn.
I don't know, man. I don't feel like I've achieved much artistically in my life, so I keep thinking I gotta keep grinding so I can turn out something really memorable before I die. So
maybe it's good that you think that way. Just to keep producing. When I see the clock or I see the bed, I was just like, oh, it is nap time.
Should I draw? That afternoon nap.
Yeah. I'm like, I got a large TV in my bedroom. Hold on. Oh,
you're watching something right now.
Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna watch this, but in between the boring parts, I'm just gonna rest my eyes. Every man in the world knows what that means.
Yeah. It's funny. What I do now, which I never could have done when I was younger, is especially on a Sunday afternoon, if there's like a pro football game on, mm-hmm. I will just turn it on and turn the sound on low, mm-hmm. and I will literally fall asleep.
Wow.
Not watching, but with the football game on. I won't do that with college football. I'm very, unless it's, a couple of teams I really don't care about.
Yeah.
But yeah, pro football, man. On Sunday afternoons, I've been known to sleep through a good game.
Yeah. When I'm like really locked in, I'll put on like a movie that I know, and I'll use that as a timer for me to get X amount done.
That's a good idea. I like that.
And it's usually some of my favorite movies, but if oh man, I'm like in the mood to watch Chris Nolan's Dark Knight, for instance. Yeah. And I'll watch it. 10 minutes in, I'm out.
Well, it's easy to do that if it's a movie you've seen, even if it's one you like. If you've seen it a bunch, you're kind of like, it's not like you think you're going to miss something if you happen to fall asleep. So you're just kind of like, and then I had one of my best friends from high school that I'm still really good friends with, but his how shall we say, first wife, we would go to, and this was like when we were in our 20s, we would go to movies and she would freaking fall asleep in the middle of the movie. And I'm like, I mean, that's something my dad used to do, you know, like in a movie theater. It's like, how do you fall asleep in a movie theater? But
I could do that. I mean, I've been known to have done that a couple times, but
really?
yeah, but only a couple times. But I'm known to, you know, walk out of a theater, especially if the movie's no good. It's just like, man, I ain't watching that buzz. You know, what was that? Those Taika Waititi Thor movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked out. I wanted to walk
really?
out. No. I wanted to walk out, but Sandra wouldn't let me. She's like, oh no, you paid all this money, but I was livid through the whole thing. And then she regretted, you know, staying the whole time. I guess we could have left.
Well, no. Okay, now a lot of people hate that I don't know, what was it? Was it Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah, I hated it.
Hulk was in it?
Yeah, I hated it.
Why?
What were the books funny?
No.
Then why should I be cackling laughing like these idiots were doing in the theater with this movie? I was just like, okay, none of you guys like this character. You know, he turned Thor into a dummy.
They did do that, which I didn't like that. But
then you shouldn't like any other part because he's the star. It's just like you go to see a Batman movie and you want him to be this serious badass and blah blah blah, and then no, you get jokey weird Batman, but everything around it is seemingly cool.
I probably was the wrong person to go because I worked on Planet Hulk, obviously the comic.
Yeah.
And so even though I didn't get any credit in the movie, which pissed me off, but I didn't know that till the end. And then I guess I was just sort of enamored with the idea that they were, something I worked on was kind of in a movie.
Sure.
And I
think that's what most people.
I think it was funny, but you're right, it was inappropriately funny.
Yeah. And I'm like, you guys turned Thor into a giant mimbo, and it got even worse with the second Thor movie. I forgot what it was called.
I didn't watch that one. Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
Where, because they turned Natalie Portman into like Mrs. Thor, or, the female Thor, and I was like, nobody wants to see this.
Yeah.
And I was right.
Yeah. And it was just bad all around. And I was just like, and I was also not in the right mindset for that. Yeah. Last Thor. I was just like, no, I'm not having it. And,
okay, the two movies I almost walked out on were Star Trek V in the theater because it was so bad, and then Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That I wanted to walk out of, but I would have walked out, but I took my mom to see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't, I didn't want to like ruin it for her. Yeah. And at the end of the movie, we kind of looked at each other and I said, God, that was horrible.
Yeah.
And she goes, that is like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I said, I was going to walk out. And she goes, I was ready to walk out too, but I didn't want to do it because of you. And I didn't want, we didn't talk during the movie. We just watched it, and so it was kind of funny because we were both like, yeah, we could have walked out of that pretty easily.
See, and that's the problem with a lot of these superhero movies, especially the ones that are like Superman, that he's so powerful that he could get all the nuclear weapons and throw them off the planet. You don't ever have your superhero be that powerful, and also don't broach those situations because it makes people ask the question, well, why doesn't he do this?
Yeah, why doesn't he do that? He's so strong. Why doesn't he do this?
But if you do that, it's even worse because you're putting it in the hands of Hollywood that don't like the characters or don't care about the comic books and don't care about all this other kind of stuff. And they're forced to bring up those questions. And now it's in the hands of people who respect it even less. And they're going to do it and they're going to fail at it.
Yep.
That's why you don't do anything political, overly political, and skew it to one side or the other. You try to make a ambiguous type of government, you know what I mean, where they're helpless. You know, it doesn't matter what side you're on. They're helpless, and they need these heroes to come
Well, that
on
was
their behalf.
that was more of the vibe in Superman 2, right?
Yes, yeah,
Because we never got a sense of, you know, they just kind of had respect for the office of presidency. They didn't. I thought it was stupid that they put E.G. Marshall. They gave him a hairpiece.
yeah.
That was so dumb. But they weren't saying, "Oh, this is Trump or this is Nixon or this is whatever." They were just, he was just kind of a generic president, and Superman respected the office of the presidency and stood for, you know, Americans' values that at least we used to have in this country. And yeah, you're right. It wasn't, oh, this is a Democrat president, so he does this, or it's a Republican president, so he does that. It was just, you know, a president that needed Superman's help.
If you do anything that's so overtly one side and of today, you just dated your work. You don't ever want to date the work, especially with this genre of film or television, you know, and don't make the real world problem the big event thing for your super. That's dumb. That's just dumb.
I agree. Well, if you look at this is not political, but it is cultural. If you look at Aladdin,
yeah,
and some of the shtick that Robin Williams is doing as the genie, nobody watching that now could even relate to the Arsenio Hall jokes or even Jack Nicholson stuff. It's like it does, you know, it was big at the time, but it makes no difference now.
Yeah, it's just like you don't want to see Kim Kardashian in one of these movies.
That's for sure.
You know, no matter where you side on liking her or not, you just don't want to see it because you're going to date it. And she's playing Kim Kardashian. You know, it's like, don't do that. Sheesh. Let me be immersed in that world, not mine. Right. I know my world.
Yep. No, I totally agree with that. And it always drives me nuts when they do that because it takes you out of the movie.
Yes. You know? Big time.
I mean, if you have Kim Kardashian in the movie, for example, playing a character but not herself, then I guess that's okay. But if she's playing herself, or I mean, that stuff it always has driven me nuts when they do crap like that.
I think even in Batman 2, they mentioned like Bruce Wayne was talking to Selena Kyle in their house, and they mentioned some serial killer in our world that we know, you know, popular. I'm blanking on who it was. And I was like, why did you do that? You created a whole world, but we're dealing with the Batman world.
Yeah.
Name another Batman villain that we haven't seen instead of, you know, someone from our world that is a psycho killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, you just killed it.
Well, that's true because, I mean, what world do we live in? Do we live in, is this our world or is it Batman's world?
Exactly.
And why are you crossing? The two don't cross over. And that's why I didn't like this. The one thing, and I know everybody says the Dark Knight is like the Citizen Kane of superhero movies, and I do think it's a great film, but using Chicago as Gotham City,
I hated that.
Was a huge mistake.
Huge, because they made Gotham such a character, and he set himself apart from the Burton version, and he had his own, and he brought it back a little bit more down to realism, you know. And they showed the Narrows where I was like, oh man, I can't wait until I see the next one. He's gonna go crazy with Gotham City. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's Chicago.
I was like, it's a clean city, and you're just like, this is not Gotham City. This is just, you know, Chicago or whatever, there was nothing. The city had no personality.
Yeah.
And I think it really hurt that film, which is kind of silly to say because, it's considered so great by everybody. But if that had had more atmosphere, like that's why the first movie is still my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it treated Gotham City as kind of it was its own thing.
Yeah. And as much as I love The Dark Knight, it wouldn't have got the love that it had if Heath Ledger wouldn't have passed.
You don't think so, huh?
Absolutely not. I mean, as much as I love The Crow, it wouldn't have got the numbers that it got if Brandon Lee wouldn't have passed.
Well, that's probably true. I think with Batman,
I think people would like it a lot. They would like both of them a lot. But man, giving Heath a Oscar and all this kind of nonsense, I was like, really?
Well, Hollywood is so predictable in the sense of, like the Academy Awards and, it's, you can almost predict, depending on what's going on socially at the moment, who's going to win what and why. And it's so dishonest. I mean, how many times I'm doing a history of the Academy Awards on my Sunday show now, and we just started it, but it's pretty quick. I mean, even in the first 3 Academy Awards, there was controversy that they basically cheated to give certain people awards, and we've seen it throughout history. They just continue, like Shakespeare in Love beating out Saving Private Ryan. Now, I think Shakespeare in Love is a great movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But no one remembers it, and no one's ever going to forget Saving Private Ryan. You know what I mean? And you've got to. And I don't know what won Best Picture this. I don't even.
No, don't ask me.
It was
Sinners.
No. Sinners got nominated. What's his face? Michael B. Jordan won. Now, I don't know if it's any good because I haven't seen it, but I guess he plays a dual role. So maybe, he did some heavy lifting. I have no idea.
No, it was good, but not like, oh, man. It wasn't that.
Okay. Well, Paul Thomas Anderson, whatever that guy's name is, he won. Oh, it was it was a thing with DiCaprio. Every day is what was the name of that title? Every Little Thing Every Day, or I don't know, something like that. That one, and I don't know. Some people say it's great. Other people saying it's just a bunch of woke crap. And I haven't seen it, but I just wonder if 10 years from now, anybody will even remember that it won anything or care, Yeah.
I mean, people in general are just not caring about the Academy Awards anymore, and people, patting themselves on the back and all this kind of stuff. So none of that matters. The only thing that matters is the fans, whether they like it or not.
Yep.
And that's the argument I had about like Superman in Man of Steel, where people want to, compare. And I was just like, okay, you start a new version of said character because, and I'm doing air quotes, the other one wasn't working, even though it made its money back plus, you know what I mean? So we're going to start all over, and you do another one that does much less, and the fans were not going to go see repeat times in the theater. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that should tell everybody something, that if you're not making the fans, because I didn't have a problem with them doing a new Superman. Just do it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Granted, I like Snyder's and stuff, but I'm open to seeing something closer to where the larger audience at large has a universal vision of that character, you know, and ultimately it comes down to story. And if you're not, playing those right notes towards the fans to get that story and scratch that itch, and it seems like Hollywood goes out of their way all the time with these things to say, oh, I'm going to subvert your expectations. And I'm like, can you just give us our expectations once in a while, please? Sheesh.
Well, that's the thing. I never have been a fan of, and you'll see this all the time. You see it in comics, you see it in movies, even in music, where people get rewarded for originality, even if the originality sucks.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you're thinking outside the box and you're giving me something different, but I'm not giving you extra points for doing something different unless it's different good, because it can still be different suck.
Yeah. Like, I know people have problems with Tim Burton's Batman, and his story was kind of rudimentary and there were potholes in it. Mm-hmm. But he, in his limited understanding of Batman, his went to the Adam West. That's what he knew of it. And he said, okay, I'm not doing that. Right. You know what I mean? I don't want to be silly, so silly. You know what I mean? The whole thing is absurd, but he didn't want to go so silly. And he said, let me try to make some sort of sense of this. And what do I think of Gotham? I think that's what he brought to Batman that still hasn't been shook to this day, his interpretation of Gotham. Yeah. And the fact that he was the first one to put a superhero in that bodysuit, and we still haven't left that to this day.
That's true.
The only time they did step away from it was with Corn Sweat's, Superman suit, and everybody hated it for the most part.
Well, no, I mean, for whatever you think of Burton's film, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it as much as some people do, because I for me, it was a little too cartoonish. And I mean, it's very Burton-esque. So, I mean, if you're a big Burton fan, then you probably loved it. If you're not, you probably didn't. But it did sort of, it was definitely a trend-setting film. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was so successful. And like you said, they introduced the bodysuit. And I mean, before that, we'd had, Christopher Reeve in spandex, basically, and had to work out, to get his body in good enough shape that we could believe he was Superman. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have to do that anymore because they got these, the muscle suits and everything. And it kind of evolved from there. And there's a lot of good things about what, Burton did. And I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan. I kind of take him per, just every movie to me is, its own thing. And sometimes he makes it work and sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Ed Wood is his best film. And I just think that film is brilliant. But then I've seen other stuff he's done, and I've been kind of like Mars Attacks. I just didn't get into it. I know a lot of people like that movie because it's just so odd. But didn't really work for me. Beetlejuice I think is overrated. I do think Michael Keaton's performance in Beetlejuice is what makes that movie so great.
Yeah.
But I don't think the movie itself is that great.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I mean, I admit when I went and saw the Batman at Burton's, I waited in line to get in there. I was going to be like the first one in there. And we literally went, a couple hours early and just sat there and waited in line to be the first ones in the theater. Mm-hmm. And I was disappointed. I wanted something different than what I got. I wanted something heavier, more like what Christopher Nolan tried to do with it. That's what I was kind of hoping for, because I wanted people, because I was just breaking into comics at the time, and I wanted people to take comic books seriously, right?
Sure.
And so I was hoping that would be, more, maybe less stylized and more grim than it was. But I look back on it now and I kind of like it for what it was. But I still prefer the Christopher Nolan, at least the first Batman movie.
Think about the movies back then, and I don't think there would have been anybody who could have did what you were asking for at that time.
No, you may be right.
You know, we're lucky to have gotten it to look as close as it did.
Yeah.
It could have went way left.
Yeah, I don't think, again, like I said, in retrospect, it just wasn't, that's not a fair criticism to say, well, I went and saw a movie and it wasn't what I wanted it to be. Well, that's, you grade a movie based on what it is, not on what you what you want it to be. Yeah. But it does affect your emotional response to it if you're not getting what you wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to sit back and reevaluate and go, yeah, you know what? It's not so bad after all. It's just, you know.
I think the what do you call it? The executives and all that kind of stuff, they had to bump their heads a couple of times. Unlike a comic fan, they know exactly what it should be and what it is. They don't want to listen to that. And then they think the opposite because of toys and little kids and all this kind of stuff because they're assuming it's for them, you know. Mm-hmm. And there is a way to do a one that's for everyone, but by and large, you know, the comic book kids of today are not the comic book kids of our generation.
No.
Our generation wanted it to have more grit and tooth like what the Batman did in its last one, where it was like, oh shoot, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, they took it as serious as a heart attack, you know.
That's the one you really like, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Burton. I like the Nolan. I didn't like the last Nolan one. It was all right. It was just too much.
He had a hard time figuring out what his message was. It was like, was this anti-police or pro-police? It was at different things, you know, at different times.
Yeah, it was all over the place. So I was just like, whatever. Yeah. I think he just wanted to use it to test out new camera equipment.
That may be true.
And true. But this last one where you never saw a Batman movie that was purely about Batman, and you see most of the movie that's Batman, like what, you know, this last one was. And I was just like, yo, now that's a Batman movie. Is it?
I can't, to be honest with you, I do not remember my feelings about that movie after seeing it. I would have to go watch it again.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why I don't, but
I mean,
maybe I was I was suffering from Batman fatigue.
Sure.
You know?
And I think there's some things in there that people like in every single one, there's some things that we expect because we grew up on Batman. We want to see him swinging on a rope or all that kind of stuff and scaling a wall and, you know, doing all that kind of stuff. And almost all of them didn't linger in that area. They just wanted to do it and get past it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And where we're there for, we want to see this guy in this costume and we want to see his cape billowing in the wind and see the scallops, and we want to see him like kicking butt like Bruce Lee or whatever. Just something, you know, all of that kind of visceral guy stuff, you know. And we didn't get enough of that in any of them. We got a smattering of that.
Yeah. And no, I get your point, because I think if I went back and watched the Robert Pattinson film, there wasn't a lot of, like, there was so much Bruce Wayne stuff with in Christopher Nolan's.
Yeah.
And that this newer one was more just Batman, wasn't it?
Yep. And then the fans complain about when you see Bruce Wayne, he's not the Bruce Wayne that's in your mind where he's already got his ish together and he's clean cut and all this other kind of stuff. And he just took a different route to get there. You know what I mean? He's not perfect yet. This is year 2. He's trying to figure all of this kind of stuff out. And Alfred's trying to show him that, hey, you know, Bruce Wayne is important too, you know. and he's going to have to realize that, especially by the second one.
Yeah, I mean, I assume they've got to be. How long ago was that movie made? Now, that first one with Patterson,
6 years ago.
God, what are they waiting so long for? Are they going to do it? They're going to do another one, right?
No, they're starting the film next month.
It's about time. Jeez. Henry Angelus says Batman film noir. I'm in. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what it was. I mean, dude, my memory of that film was so vague. I just must have been like checked out while I was watching it. I have to go back and watch it again closer. But it was kind of dark, wasn't it?
It was very dark.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want, right?
Yeah, and he was a detective for most of it.
Yeah, so it's kind of, oh, that's right, because who ended up in jail at the end of that? Was it the Riddler?
Yeah, the Riddler, and Joker was already in jail, and I mean, everything got solved in the end.
Right, the Riddler was really kind of creepy. I remember that at the end, that end scene where he's still in jail or whatever, or Riddler's finally in jail. Yeah, I got to go back and watch that again. Golem Wolf for $10. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much. He says, for me, I think comic movies would be taken seriously if more of the filmmakers took the source material seriously. Instead, they seem embarrassed and just want to push their message. There's some of that too. I think that gets in there. I mean, everybody, of course, any filmmaker is going to want his own particular vision on something, particular like that. But you've got to stay within the confines of the source material, or you're going to lose your hardcore fans, and that's the people that really prop anything up.
Yep.
And Hollywood, like you said earlier, Hollywood just kind of disregards the hardcore fan base because they think, well, we want a bigger audience. But if you can't keep your hardcore fan base satisfied, you're probably not going to have a successful film.
I mean, I think that's why all of these studios are like in trouble, and the movie theaters are in trouble, because they rather preach the message instead of doing what they're in business for, is to entertain the fans. Now the fans have TVs that are so huge. You're like, what do I need to pay to go to a theater for?
Right. Exactly. And I just, again, when you hire people for an agenda, don't be surprised when those people don't do the right thing. They promote their agenda. They don't promote a good product. That's secondary. It may not even be a consideration.
Yeah.
Like they're such ideologues that they're like, the only thing that's important is for me to get this message out. And that's more important than entertainment. But you're like, dude, you're in an entertainment industry, or dudette. You're in an entertainment industry. Your number one priority is to get butts in the seat and create a film that people want to go see, not to preach some freaking message, whatever that message
is. Exactly. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Kevin Grievous.
I got to put myself on mute.
Jimmy Owens says, shoot, these last second live streams are totally throwing my brain for a loop. Hello, Aaron and David. Hello, Jimmy. Thanks for joining us. I know. I don't, I do these, they are last second live streams for a reason. I'm trying, obviously, to promote Art of Roy says, nerds got to get over this daddy and mommy neglect issues they carry through their life in their need to be accepted as the weirdos they are. There's some truth there. No, we're doing these because I'm trying to get a few people possibly that aren't in my regular chat or purview by doing, these kind of unannounced at different times live streams, and to promote our book, which is Barbaric Adventures. But I will, I'm happy to draw, which I'm doing right now. As you can see, that lighting isn't very good. I don't really got issues with my lighting, and that didn't really help that much. But anyway, so David and I are coming on and chatting up about whatever and working on, at least I am, David sometimes, drawing. And the reason we're doing it is, as I said, to promote Barbaric Adventures. And let's take a look at that campaign right now, since we're right in the middle of this. And I still haven't cornered Taco Bell into advertising on my show, so I have to do it myself on my own advertisement. So anyway, we got Barbaric Adventures, guys. This is a 64-page square-bound magazine format, which is 8.5 by 11, so it's bigger than a regular comic. And it's black and white, but it's a good black and white, meaning there's tonal rendering in all the stories that kind of give it some depth, and that maybe you're used to seeing in coloring. But I have such a problem with modern coloring that I oftentimes wish that I could publish in black and white. And you can't really do it because everybody demands color. I get that. But we are taking an artistic left turn here and doing a black and white for the sake of the art. But there's also really good stories in here. You'll find 3 main stories. Mine is called Primal Zone, the story of a reluctant hero, if you will, who goes through an interdimensional portal searching for a scientist that was lost years before, and he finds himself in an interdimensional world full of dinosaurs and cavemen. Very Edgar Rice Burroughs-y, if any of you guys are still into that. David Williams is giving us the story of a young medieval knight who battles a horde of demons in a quest to become a true warrior. Finally, Dan Lawless takes us to a futuristic Mars where high-tech society has fallen into savage chaos, and one man leads a rebellion against the evil powers that have seized control. Gary Martin provides the, is it the Place of Honor? The inside front cover pinup will be Gary's. And I also am doing a short story that introduces Freya, the Ice Princess, or the princess from the Ice Kingdom. And she's also a Yeti Slayer because, it's Barbaric Adventures. It's not, My Little Pony princess stories. So there's 4 cover options. This is the one that I painted. Here's the one that David painted featuring his characters. This is the one that Dan digitally painted, but still very cool, featuring his story. And then, of course, the great Joe Jusko contributes a cover of Freya, the Ice Princess, who just really in a very savage way, took out a Yeti here. And his Yeti brothers are not very pleased. I like how Joe gave the Yeti like horns. I think that was pretty cool. It's not going to be reflective in my story necessarily, but maybe there's different tribes of Yetis. Now that's kind of like there's different Klingons in Star Trek. There's the more humanoid ones, the ones with the, messed up foreheads are a different race of Klingons. And so maybe that's what we got going. There's different tribes of Yetis that look different. Actually, the more I say that out loud, the more I like it. So we may just go with that. Here are some of the interior pages. I showed those earlier in the stream, but these 2 plus, actually I showed these 3. So here they are, right in glorious black and white on your screen right now. These are all story pages. This is not a pinup. This is a story page. Splash page, obviously. There's a story page in the story of Primal Zone. So you can see what I'm doing here. I honestly, people say this all the time, but I think this may be the best work of my career. So you guys don't miss this. You're going to be sorry if you do. I really believe that. This is really a cool project. Here's some of Dan's work. He's going to be getting me over another page I can put up here. David's in the process of laying his story out, so he doesn't have any finished pages at the moment, but as soon as he does, we're going to get those up here, or a couple of them, not a ton, because we don't want to give the whole thing away. Here are some of the items you can get only in the one of the rewards, which is called the Big Barbaric Box. That's just everything in the campaign you get in this box. But it also has 2 items you can't get in the campaign as add-ons or anything else. It's this 4-print portfolio. They all come signed by me. They're all by me, signed in with an illustrated envelope. And then, of course, this is the 5th cover which is kind of a Doc Savage inspired, James Bama inspired cover, where we've got our hero Taylor Carson, who in this particular, with these torn off blue pants, looks like an adult Commandy. So I'm gonna have to work on it a little bit. And then we got some of the elements, kind of knocked back in this turquoise green background. Now this is a color rough. It's not a prelim. It's not the finished painting, but this is how it's gonna kind of look, but in a much more polished fashion, of course. And that cover is only available in the Big Barbaric box. Here is the sketchbook, 8.5 by 11, 32 pages of my barbarian work. That comes signed by me. Here's a print of Freya and a Yeti in print I call Snow Hunt. That comes signed. You can get that. Those are limited just to this campaign. Barbaric Adventures shot glass. And then we have some original art. Now, I took out the art that's already sold. These are the pieces that are still available, pages 1 and 2. And then my cover. Everything else is sold. And the piece I'm working on right now, I will probably put up on this campaign as soon as I get it done. If you keep scrolling all the way down to the bottom, we get to all the reward options. This one is pinned up on the right-hand side, the 4-pack plus, because I think it's a pretty good deal. You get all 4 covers, which I know a lot of people want, and this is the best way to get it, is the 4-pack plus. You get all 4 covers plus the sketchbook for $105. That's $120 value. You can order the shot glass separately, only because it's shipped separately in its own box. You can pick any 4 of the covers if you just want to get one cover. If you want to combine, you can get Barbaric Adventures 1 with the sketchbook. You can get the Barbaric Adventures sketchbook in the print for a $5 savings from $55. It's a $60 value. Or the Big Barbaric box that I was talking about. You get all 4 covers, the shot glass, the print, the sketchbook, the exclusive portfolio, only available in the Big Barbaric box, and the extra cover, which is only available in the Big Barbaric box. And it's a $210 value. You get it for $185. That's a good deal. So consider either that or the 4-pack plus. I know those are bigger ticket items, but they're pretty good deals as well. Then we have the original art. What's left, as you can see, a lot of it's sold. If it's still purple, that means it's still available. If it's gray, it's been sold. And then you go all the way down to the bottom and you get your add-ons. You can add on anything from the campaign, kind of buffet style, make your own order. If you want to get some back issues you've missed, Wraith of God 1, 2, and 3, Saved from the Trash is one of my older sketchbooks that I still have copies of. It's square bound. It's a really nice black and white sketchbook. Kit Carter Planet Doom. I just reread that last night and laughed. So the paperback's still available. Garbage Man trade paperback, Power Cube trade paperback, all 4 of the covers, and the Kit Carter sketchbook. Those are all of the add-ons that are available in this campaign. So if you guys haven't backed yet, please consider doing so. Yesterday we did a raffle for some original artwork, a Conan sketch, to one lucky backer. That's backer number 134. If that is you, please contact me. If you have not contacted me within a week, I will re-raffle it again on Graybeards next Wednesday. But every time we get to 100 backers, additional 100 backers, we're going to raffle off another piece of artwork. So we're at 326 right now, and we hit 400. We're going to raffle off another piece of artwork. So anyway, a lot of good reasons to back this campaign. The most notable one is it's high quality. I mean, really high quality. And you're going to be sorry if you miss out. I really think that. So link is in the description of this video. It's also pinned to the top of the chat. If you're watching on X, you can go to my homepage and there's a link there, or you can just go over to Indiegogo, type in Aaron Lopresti or Barbaric Adventures, and it will take you right to the campaign. So thank you guys very much for your attention to this, and we'll get back to drawing and talking about movies, apparently. All right. David's back on the phone, so I will just continue my drawing here. I envisioned this as a it's funny, the names that we used to have for dinosaurs have gotten way more technical. Like the flying dinosaur was just generally known as a pterodactyl. I don't even think they use that anymore. I think it's pteranodon is what we call these things now. So that's what I'm doing here.
Hold on. I just got back. Wait, they changed the name of pterodactyl?
Yeah, it's like a brontosaurus. There's no such thing. There's different kinds of giant water dinosaurs like a diplodocus, um, but they're not called brontosauruses anymore. That was like total '70s thing.
You know, I don't accept any of that nonsense. It's always going to be a pterodactyl to me.
Well, that's fine. I'm just saying what the like
Don't
this
be saying
right
what
here,
these.
like this guy.
Yeah.
This is, this used to be like a typical brontosaurus or whatever, but it's a diplodocus. So, and I guess there's other names for similar things, and I could get into my whole idea about. I think about 70% of the dinosaur stuff we're being fed is BS.
Yeah.
If they've discovered 50% or more of a skeleton of a dinosaur, then I'll accept it as being an actual dinosaur.
That's the point I'm making. That's why it's always going to be a pterodactyl to me.
And I wonder how many of these. I watched an artist, guy who does like, takes fossil remains and does, drawings of them and things. That how easily you can interpret what many scientists interpret as a flying dinosaur as just a bird. And so he did his drawing based on this stuff. He came out with a bird where someone with a preconceived idea that this is a flying lizard, it's not a bird, and then they create this drawing based on a skeletal remains that's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so my point being is we don't really know, but if you find like Sioux, for example, the T-Rex they found in Wyoming, they found 80% of that skeletal remains intact. That's a lot of bones.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty hard to say, well, the T-Rex never existed because they've got 80% skeleton of one. But if you find the partial jawbone of a particular dinosaur and then you interpret it a certain way, then you're manufacturing something that you don't have enough evidence to really support.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you call the Wolfman a lichen now because they've have that definition through
What do you mean, like because of the lycanthropy?
Yeah.
The
or do you call the characters in what's Kevin's movie?
Underworld.
Do you call them Wolfmen or do you call them lichen? You call them lichen because the movie told you to, but they're a bunch of Wolfmen. That's just like how I'm not going to change. I'm calling all these Wolfmen lichen from here on. No, you already had a name for these characters, so they're Wolfmen. So I'm not changing the name of brontosaurus or pterodactyls. You already had a name for them. Stop confusing people with the nonsense to try to make yourself sound smart.
All right. I won't argue with that.
It's like, they're trying to do the whole Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. No, it's Muhammad Ali.
Well, now wait a minute. He did.
I know what he did. I still like.
He did win the title as Cassius Clay, so that he does have a history as Cassius Clay that you can't ignore.
His mama called him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
Here's the thing, though. Let me tell you something. Cassius Clay is like a freaking awesome name.
I know.
And although Muhammad Ali has obviously become iconic because of what he accomplished as Muhammad Ali, but it's like, and I know it's a religious thing, a Muslim thing that he changed his name, but dude, Cassius Clay is a freaking cool name, especially for a boxer.
Yep.
But,
that's why,
you can say the same thing about Jabbar, right? I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won his first title, if I'm not mistaken. He was still Lou Alcindor, wasn't he, before he turned? And that's another freaking cool name. Lou Alcindor? Are you kidding me?
I can imagine that as a fighter. He could be a boxer too.
I know that's a great name. And it's like, I hate it. I don't care if these guys have like dumb names and they change them, then it's like, I don't care. But if you have a cool name, dude, don't change it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have to, if you're a Muslim, I don't know anything about it, but if you're a Muslim, do you have to change your name?
It seemed like that as far as the Nation of Islam, because they think all Americanized blacks have slave names.
Oh, I see.
You know? And I'm like, so, but you're now a slave to Muhammad?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Dude, there was a...
It's like, yeah, I'm going to name myself after that pedophile. I was like, what?
How's that an improvement?
Yeah.
But now there was a light heavyweight boxer in the 70s. I was really into boxing in the 70s and 80s because it was so accessible. They would show those fights on TV. You didn't have to pay to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a light heavyweight named Matthew Franklin, and he won the title, and he was from Philadelphia, right? Which any good boxer should be from Philly, right? I mean, that's, you know, Rocky, Philadelphia. I mean, Rocky was fake, obviously, but that's kind of a thing, right? To be a boxer out of Philadelphia. And his name was Matthew Franklin, which I thought was a great boxer name.
Yeah.
Out of Philly. Matthew Franklin fights out of Philly, right? So, but then he became a Muslim and changed it to Matthew Saad Muhammad. And I was like, that's not as good, man. So, and then he got beat by Dwight Braxton, who then changed his name to Dwight Kwame. Oh God, what was it? Something really hard to pronounce. I was like, dude, Dwight Braxton, that's a killer name too.
Yep.
So I don't know. So how did we get from talking about dinosaurs to boxers?
No, it's just all about names and name change. That kind of stuff.
Well, that's true. So I guess it all does relate, right? Pantheon says, David, you're going to be getting a call from Kevin in about 2 minutes. And Underworld, they were lichens, which is way cooler, he says.
Yeah, but look at my response to him.
Oh, Kevin won't do Jack Diddy. Kevin will call you.
No, he won't.
Not about this because he's probably not listening, but he calls you all the time. So
yeah, he does.
He will call you.
He's all black man, and I'm like, yo.
What were you saying that he posted something about being in a music video with the Michael Jackson music video where he was like some Egyptian
yeah, him and Tiny Lister.
Yeah.
And
that
Michael
Jackson really loved his voice or something.
Yeah, Michael would come up to Kevin and goes, I like your voice. Say something.
Oh.
He'll never do it, but if you hear Kevin do Michael Jackson, it's hilarious.
How can you get that baritone that high? I don't believe he can do it.
That's why it's hilarious. I'll tell you something, and I don't care if this embarrasses Kevin. I'm just telling him. So do you remember when everybody was like going crazy over that Popeye's chicken sandwich?
Yes.
It was like people actually killed one another over it. It's some stupid nonsense. So Kevin went to his local Popeyes to get like sandwiches for him and his family. And I think the rule was that you're only limited to 2.
They were that popular.
You could only get 1.
Wow.
By the time he gets up to the window, you know, he thinks, I'll just go back around through the drive-through and just get another 2.
Yeah.
And he goes, yes. He's using the same voice. Yes, I'd like to get 2 chicken sandwiches, please. You know? And they said, sir, we already gave you 2 already, and we're only limited to. He said, oh, okay, I'm sorry. So he got the great idea to go through the line again, you know. And he goes, yes, I would like to get 2 tickets. Sir. Again, so he realizes, there's a camera around. They see all the cars that are coming through.
Oh, so yeah.
And so he pulls off and he has to go to another. I was just like, oh, and I'm like, dude, are you serious? And he would call me when he would, most of the time when he's calling me, he's on the road. He's talking. Yeah. He's either going to In and Out or some kind of drive-through or whatever. But he was doing that whole, you know, chicken run. He had to go get that, you know, that chicken sandwich that everybody had to get. Yes, I'd like to get 2 chicken sandwiches. His voice went up from, yes, I'd like to get 2 chicken sandwiches. Yes.
Oh.
I told him I'm never letting this go. I said, I'm telling everybody.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Your impersonation though of him is so spot on. It's
he calls and he goes, hey, what's going on? How's it going, black man? And he goes, what you working on? And I said, nothing right. Like I'm in the kitchen. He said, you're not working. And, oh, what you lollygagging? And I was like, here we go. Anytime I'm not at the drawing table, I'm lollygagging.
Well.
I mean, a big portion of that is but come on.
There's a lot of truth to that, however.
But he always calls me when I got to make some food.
Well, he knows what, the right time to get you, I guess.
Yeah. He knows now not to call during the show. You notice that?
Well, you kept putting him on without telling him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like he's finally got wise to you.
Yeah, he touched the electric fence one too many times.
Finally learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Oh man, good old Kevin. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I had him on my Sunday show launches Genie book or whatever it was. Like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was like 2 years ago now or something like that.
Yeah. I want to get him on again. Just have him chopping it up.
Well, we got to talking about, he had an idea for a Bigfoot movie. And I was trying to get some info, and he's like, well, I don't want to, see, I can't do his voice. I don't want to, he said he didn't want to give the plot away, obviously, because he didn't want people to steal it. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So.
That means he didn't have nothing.
Is that what that means?
I don't want to say nothing. Yeah, because you ain't got nothing.
Well, not everybody just freely gives away their great story ideas like you do.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. It's like my mind's been doing like a Jedi mind trick on me of late, like where I'm very resigned to the idea that I'm not doing any comics after I finish the stuff I do for you. But then I see some garbage. I mean, some stuff out there that makes me that was Freudian slip. That makes me go, man, I could be kicking some butt if I did so and so and this and that,
Well, we've talked about this before, and in fact, I just brought it up, I think yesterday on Graybeards when I was showing those story prints that I was doing or thought about doing, that Batman thing I uncovered by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no money in it, I guess, in the short term, but there's this temptation to do kind of like what John Byrne did with all those, X-Men stories that were, fan fiction, and he just released them for free. And then Marvel came in and finally, paid him and printed all of them. We're in the process of printing them.
Yeah.
And like we've all got like stories, I got this Captain America story where he fights zombies in World War II. I really want to do this, and it's like, I would love to do it, but I don't know that I can afford the time to sit there and put that out and just kind of let it out in the internet ether. But it would be fun because we all have those stories, and there's no way DC's hiring me or Marvel's hiring me to do that now.
I mean, I have a full Legends of the Dark Knight script that was okayed at the time, but they canceled the book. So I had to stop before I started. I mean, the script was finished, but none of the art was done, but they canceled the book. And I still got that script, and I should just draw this anyway.
Well, dude, you came in late because I got mine in.
Hey, man, I don't need all that. Keep that to yourself.
No, that I got to admit, I don't mean to rub it in, but that was a lot of fun working on just a Batman script where I really didn't have any interference.
Yeah,
because it was for that the digital format, and they printed it later, but it was originally done as a digital comic, right? So I had a format that I had to follow because of the way a visual format, I mean, because the way the pages split on the
Wait, they never printed it on paper?
Huh?
They never printed it?
Oh, they did print it on paper eventually.
Oh, okay.
But in fact, I may have a page handy here. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in terms of the layout. I couldn't do anything too fancy because it basically the pages got split right in the middle for the way they laid them out on the digital platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so you had to make sure that the page, the break was like right in the middle all the time. So it didn't, when they broke it in half, it didn't like cut a panel off, right? So here's this, I'll make myself big here so we can see this. Okay, so this with Clayface, right?
Yeah.
So this, it had to break right here every single time. So you could do whatever you wanted up here and then do whatever you wanted down here.
Mm-hmm.
But that had to be the split all the time.
Yeah.
So the entire story was, I had like multiple panels down here and that type of thing, but it always had to break right in the middle like that. So they could, this would be the first digital page. This would be the second digital page.
Gotcha.
And so then this got printed in like a Legends of the Dark Knight annual or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like 3 pages like this. It starts with the Joker, then there's Clayface, and then there's Killer Croc, all with the exact same layout and basically the same design.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into the story. This is kind of like they're not really players in the story, but Batman gets injured in each one of these fights, and someone is following him around collecting like DNA samples of him.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime he gets cut or bled in these stories, the guy comes back and collects the blood sample from that Batman left so he can create his own Batman. Oh, here's another page. I saved right here from the same story. So again, you can see the split is right here.
Mm-hmm.
You've got these panels up here, and then these ones down here. And this is like the mad scientist. He's all deformed because he was experimenting on himself and stuff, but he's obsessed with Batman. This little writes and pen and ink stuff I did down here.
That's great. Go back to the other page. What's that page that you're doing Kirby?
Oh, this, I was looking for this and I couldn't find it on, we were talking about when we were doing that Kirby trying to ape Jack Kirby a couple
Yeah.
of weeks ago?
Yeah.
This was me aping Kirby. This is the mask.
Yeah, that turned out great.
But I aped Kirby there for that.
What's the last panel? I can't see it.
He says they're like fighting, and he says, "Ouch! Not in the face! Not in the face!" So it's like it was just a 2-page story, right? So it was the mask becomes a superhero.
Wow. Man, you were good. What happened? What happened?
One thing I regret about this. See, I had his tongue hanging out there because this hot chick comes up and she says, "Get up, Mask. You may have defeated the Justice Friends of New Hampshire, but now you face Lavender Lass and my awesome power purple." And he's like, curvaceous, excellentus. I wish that tongue had come down and was all like laying down over the rocks. That's what I should have done, and I didn't do it. And it pisses me off now that I look at it. And so then he fights. It's just a 2-page story, and it was a bunch of different artists worked on this.
Yeah.
And so I wrote my own little 2-page thing. And, the mask has like this sort of, I guess, infinite power, right? He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So then he became this sort of Kirby character for this.
Why do you have the pages that they're all just randomly put? Why don't you put the pages that are from the same book together?
I did.
No, they're not back to back.
Okay, well, no, I guess they're not. This was my comeback at DC after I got blacklisted for Tachyon. I finally got someone to give me a story in an annual. It was a Green Lantern annual, and that's Calabac fighting.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, that's not Green Lantern. That's like New Gods in Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That turned
I got some Planet Hope pages that I kept. Like, I love this panel.
Yeah.
See, I designed these guys, and they didn't use them in the movie.
Is he naked?
Huh?
Is Hulk naked?
No, he's got a little bit of a loincloth there, but it's in the shadow.
Okay. And he's killing people while he's just chilling?
No, he's sacrificing these alien creatures come down after he's taken control of the planet. Mm-hmm. The whole Spartacus thing. Now he's king. Mm-hmm. And these aliens come to feast on these people. And the way he can save them is he lets these aliens feast on him because he knows he can rejuvenate.
That's crazy.
And so they so you can see his arm getting starting to get sucked down and dilapidated.
Yeah.
But then he rejuvenates after they're gone. So that's how he saves the people.
Rejuvenates.
Yeah. It's like Wolverine.
I don't think they call it rejuvenating.
What do they call it?
Regenerating.
Regenerate. Okay. I thought maybe you had a dirty joke in there.
No, yours sounds something like he's soaking in palm olive or something like that. It rejuvenates your skin. Well, you're soaking in it.
See, and these are the aliens that they inject people with these spores and stuff, and so he gets look at that thing coming out of his eye. Everybody wanted to buy this page from me, and I thought that means I need to keep it.
Yeah.
So I did, just for that one big panel right there of his eyes.
That turned out really good. Are you inking most of these or no?
No, that was Sand. I didn't ink any of this stuff except the Batman stuff. I inked myself. Okay. But that was Sandu Floria because Danny Mickey was supposed to ink it, but then he just couldn't keep up because he was so busy doing everything else. So the first issue that Sandu did was kind of touch and go, and then I had a conversation with him, and he really came back and really did a good job on the last.
Do you think having those inkers ink your stuff got it to you faster than you inking your own work?
I just didn't have confidence enough to. I would definitely ink my own stuff now because I feel I've kind of got a style that I like.
Yeah.
And but this was more. I wanted more of a Danny Mickey. That's why I wanted Danny to do it because I knew he'd bring something to it. And so Sandu Floria kind of tried to do what Danny was doing. It did a pretty decent job, but it took him a little bit of time to get it. And then by issue 102, which was the last issue I did, that's this one here. This is 99, but this one right here, he was humming, and it looked pretty good. Now this is Matt Ryan. And I went to CrossGen because I got, once again, I had nothing going on. I lost my X-Men gig because the editors got fired. And so I went to CrossGen and hooked up with Matt Ryan. And then I really started doing some good work. And that got me back in at Marvel after CrossGen went under this Mystic stuff. I got, look at this. Look at this X-Men stuff that Danny Mickey inked.
Wow.
Look how good that looks.
Yeah. Very, very solid.
Well, it's very sort of trendy, right? It was very, this is what they, I thought the X-Men stuff, they wanted it to look like. And so I was bringing it because I wanted the work. And this, like I said, I got the X-Men job. I was going to be the regular X-Men artist. Wow. And then Ethan got both the guys fired. And there went my career. But what would have been? Anyway, there you go. Now I'm back in my Frazetta phase. Out of my Jim Lee phase and back to my Frazetta roots.
There you go. Man, those are like perfect breasts.
Well, that's what we all aspire for, right?
We all attain.
We're all looking for the perfect set. Well, that's what I always, it's so funny because people will ask, like, well, does wife get mad that you draw, like, attractive women or whatever? And I'm like, she doesn't care. She's like, hey, if someone wants to buy it, draw it. But we always joke that, like I had her model a couple times and she goes, yeah, Aaron would use me as a model, but then adjust things for viewing pleasure or something like that. But I've always looked at this kind of like as not drawing, I don't know, sexy women. Huh?
Smut.
No, and not as drawing sexy women, but as drawing idealized women.
Oh.
Just like we draw idealized men as superheroes, right?
Sure.
And that's just kind of how I always looked at it.
Yeah, that's how you could tell. You tell these women that just lift your shirt and show them your gut and say, hey, look at how I draw men and look at me.
Yeah. No. This isn't sexist. I do it both. If you just look at the my painted cover for Barbaric Adventures, you got a chicken like a cave 2-piece cave girl outfit, right? Mm-hmm. But then you got a dude he has no shirt on and his pants are torn. So it's like, what's the difference?
Yeah. Hey, you might want to get a cannonball out.
Uh-oh.
Go read what your boy Gary said.
Did Marvel can those editors because they hired you? And I hate to do this to your friends, but that's for Gary. All right. So, okay. Darren Wagner says Aaron besmirched the visage of the Space Spectre. This will not stand. So he comes on the show, if you remember, yesterday and said he preferred the Space Spectre to Space Ghost.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but he sent me a picture on X of the Space Spectre character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's like a negative version of Space Ghost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so he's like got a black costume with a white hood.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't say white hood, should I? But I was like, a white cowl. Is that any better? I don't know. Yeah. But I was like, how in the world do you think, Darren Wagner, that is cooler looking than Space Ghost?
Yeah.
So
I did not accept that character or villain.
Was that from the cartoon show? I mean, I never heard of that. Or it must have been a comic book version, right? I mean, that was not.
It was in the cartoon.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Not that I've seen every Space Ghost episode. I don't even know how many they made.
Yeah, it was whack.
Now you did some like Space Ghost work didn't you, at Warner Brothers?
Style guide art.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you still got to draw them.
Yeah.
So they were still pushing, to a certain degree, some of those characters from those Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Oh, big time. They were trying to, but it wasn't going anywhere.
Mm.
When DC went and did their Hanna-Barbera Heroes thing, I pitched an idea for having them all in a same universe and more serious and stuff like that. And one who was in charge of it was Hank Canals, right? So I thought for sure I was going to get one of those books. And I wanted Space Ghost or Frankenstein Jr. And I just got crickets. And Hank used to work at Warner Brothers. He'd come down and talk to us all the time. And he didn't hook up me and nor Jerome. Jerome could have got him on covers, wouldn't get him on covers.
Never figured out why that was.
Yeah, never got me covers, just got crickets. And you know what? Just forget it. You can't trust your friends when they start putting on the suit and tie.
I guess. See, I got work from Hank, so it's always weird. One editor takes care of you, another one doesn't take care of somebody else, and it's kind of like, so that one person doesn't like that editor, the other person's like, oh, he always took care of me, so I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually, I had the great advantage of being friends with Dan DiDio.
Yeah.
So I could always go to Dan to make requests, so I didn't have to necessarily go through editors.
But see, I was trying to make the point, and I never received anything through nepotism.
What are you trying to say?
Well, apparently, who I thought was a friend wouldn't even give me work.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how close you and Dan were. Were you guys talking on the weekends?
No.
Okay, well, that's more like you're already in the business and you're within proximity and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, he brought me over from Marvel, right? So because he liked my stuff.
Sure.
See? And so we already had a pretty good track record, and I was reliable and all that kind of stuff. So I remember him telling me that he was getting the Hanna-Barbera stuff, and I said, and this is kind of funny, we were at a Seattle show, and I was sitting next to Ethan at dinner, and I was working on Wonder Woman at the time, and Dan brought this up, and I go, dude, I want the Herculoids. Just, make sure that when you get this, that you give me a shot to do the Herculoids. And Ethan's sitting next to me. He goes, are you out of your freaking mind? He goes, you're going to give up Wonder Woman to do the Herculoids? Don't do that. That's stupid, And of course, what ended up happening was by the time Dan actually got the deal together, because it originally fell through, because I think I said this yesterday on the show, that they had to tie up the Warner Brothers characters, the Looney Tunes, and with the Hanna-Barbera stuff, and Dan did not want the Looney Tunes stuff because they didn't sell.
Yeah.
And so that deal fell through, but eventually they got it, a couple of years later, they got it done. But so I was supposed to, that thing they did, that Future Quest, I think they called it, where, it was Johnny Quest, and then they brought in these other characters from the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But I had committed to doing, unfortunately, this, I think it was the Hawkman series with Adam Strange, which was fine, but it was like, I'd much rather have done that other one. But anyway, so Doc Shanner gets it, and he becomes kind of a star, but it elevated his profile considerably.
Yeah.
And I was like, Oh, that was my series. Why am I always not getting the right thing? You know,
Well, didn't he do Shazam before that?
I don't know. Maybe.
But he was already his star was already rising before he got on that,
Okay.
and he's really good. He has that kind of. He would be like slightly not as much as Dan Mora now. Dan Mora took it to a whole
Uh-huh.
nother level. But at the time, he could have been like the new Garcia Lopez, who had that uniform style of what DC should look like.
Right.
But then Dan Mora said, let me see a pencil. Let me show you
Yeah.
how to use
Get out of my way here, pal.
this. Let me show you how to use this."
Yeah.
And leveled it up where you just like, damn.
Well, I'm thankful that I got to do a Hercules story as a fill-in issue on issue 3. Me and strangely enough, Steve Rude and I split the issue. Rude did a Birdman story, and I did the Hercules story.
Mm-hmm.
In issue number 3.
Yeah.
And then I guess the series ran its course through issue 12, and then they launched Future Quest Presents, where they started, just doing single issue stories of whatever the characters were that they wanted to promote. So, and they did this Hercules thing, which I didn't think the story was all that great, but I don't mean to diss on the writer. It was focused too much on the kid and not enough on the whole team.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, so I drew that, and I think it turned out really well. And then they also,
Wait, it was a Herculoid story focused on the kids.
just the kid, yeah.
I mean, yeah, the son. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, the other characters were in it on and off, but there was too much of the kid and this alien he teamed up with. And yeah, but anyway, so I mean, there was some good action stuff in there, but I wanted to be more the whole family kind of.
Did they explain why the Herculoids were on that planet?
Why what?
Did they explain why the Herculoids were on that planet?
No, not in my story I worked on. They were already there and doing whatever they did. But then there was, and it was, who was the editor? It was, another guy I know pretty well, but I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. But I had worked with multiple times in the past. And so he, all I would have had to do is ask him, and he would have given me another one.
Mm-hmm.
But I finished up that Hercules story, and I remember running into Jeff Parker at a Portland show, and because he wrote a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't write the story I was working on, but he did write stories for it. And he was telling me that he had he did a Frankenstein Jr. script. I'm like, dude, I want to do Frankenstein Jr. so bad. And he goes, well, call, I just had his name and it left me again. Joey Cavalieri,
Joey Cavalieri,
the editor. And he said, call up Joey, and see if you can get it. And I went, oh yeah, I'll do that. So, but I was working on something else and I kept putting it off. Then I finally called him and he goes, Aaron, I just gave that to somebody yesterday. I was like, dang it. If I just called him, like when I originally was going to,
yeah,
I would have got to do that Frankenstein Jr. story. But so that was I got to do the Hercules, but I never got to do the Frankenstein Jr., which was my second favorite of all those.
Remind me to tell you the Herculoid story that I had off the air.
Well, like you wanted to write one, you mean?
Yeah, it was just the main plot of what I wanted to do with it. And
okay, so you wanted to do the Herculoids too?
Yeah, I wanted to tell the backstory. I wanted to tell the backstory of all the characters. That's the whole point of why I wanted to be a part of it, because I had an idea because I was so in love with the Hanna-Barbera heroes.
Yeah.
That you never got a proper origin through the cartoons. I said, man, I'd love to tell these. That was the point of when I showed the Space Ghost stuff yesterday, is that I had a backstory for Space Ghost and why he wears that outfit, and it's just sad, unfortunate thing that it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's almost comics have always been kind of like a mini movie industry.
Yeah.
It's like so many good ideas are floating around out there, and it's sometimes they get made, but a lot of times they don't.
Yeah.
And it's the other crap that for some reason, because they put it off so long, that they get in a situation where they just got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And when they end up missing out on these great projects because it was like, well, that's the first idea I've heard. I'm not going to okay that. I want to hear some more. And then by the time they listen to everything, it's like, oh my gosh, we're behind. We need to get this done. And they just grab whatever's there. And you're like, yeah, but this other story was so good. And they just never gets there. Billy Tucci says, hey boys, Aaron, what's your next Kickstarter campaign? Billy and I have been talking about, he's trying to talk me into doing more on Kickstarter, and I'm going to put Barbaric Adventures up on Kickstarter after it runs through the Indiegogo. But we talked about, I've got quite an inventory left over of Kit Carter books, and he says, why don't you put those up on Kickstarter? They're already done. And I thought, that's freaking genius. It's just a matter of managing my schedule to get it done. So I'm going to try and do that, just like a short campaign with the extra Kit Carter books I have. Because it is amazing how there's a different audience over there than Indiegogo.
You got to go where the money's at.
Yep. And we don't have the luxury anymore, unfortunately, of just saying, oh, we're going to be on one platform, snobbishly. We got to go everywhere we can to raise enough money to make these things viable. So there it is. Let's see. Baltan Cygene. Well, isn't that like a Baltan Cygene? Wasn't that a thing from John Carter? Or am I just dreaming? Did you read the new Herculoid run from Dynamite? I thought it was solid. No, I didn't, because I was bitter.
Who did the interiors?
I have no freaking idea. I remember seeing it, but I didn't even pick it up because I was like, man, I should be the Herculoids artist. But of course, Dynamite doesn't pay, so they contacted me about doing a Tarzan story, which I really wanted to do. Dan Jurgens was writing it, and Dan recommended me. And they came back with, excuse me, I think $125 a page for pencils and inks.
That's crazy. Crackhead prices.
I know, and I told Dan, I go, Dan, I can't do it. This is all they can pay me. And he's like, holy crap, I had no idea, because he was probably getting his normal page rate for writing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just like, as badly as I want to do this, I can't afford to do it. So I used to do covers for Dynamite pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And they didn't pay great either, but at least it was usually for stuff like Red Sonja, and I knew I could sell the original, so it was worth doing. But then, of course, ComicsGate backlash, they wouldn't use me anymore. So there you go.
There you go.
Good times.
Look at this piece. It's turned out great.
Thank you. It's going to go up on, I'm going to put this baby up on the campaign when I get her done. What time is it? 2 o'clock. When did I start this? 12:15. I'm going to go for about 15 more minutes, then wrap this up. Marcus Killigrew says, unfortunately, Billy is the only CGer who dies well on Kickstarter. I think he means does well.
I'm going to Kickstarter right now to see this.
Yeah. I'm going to Kickstarter to see Billy Tucci die. Well, I think most people that have launched on Kickstarter it's been a secondary campaign. So it's like most people have already backed it on on Indiegogo. So it's hard to say if you just launched a campaign from scratch, first launched it on Kickstarter, how well it would do. But because Indiegogo has gotten so complicated, now granted, I figured it out because I had to. so it's not that bad for me anymore. But it is, the way they handle shipping and stuff is questionable. So you may see everybody moving over to Fund My Comic and or Kickstarter, and then we'll see how well those books do once they, your first launches on Kickstarter, as opposed to, being a secondary campaign. Because it's hard to determine if that means anything or not. Because I think we're all just sort of going to Kickstarter right now as a secondary, well, I can get another, can sell another 100 copies or whatever, raise, another few $1,000s to kind of push me over the top at Kickstarter. So, I mean, that's all anybody's expectations are at the moment for a secondary campaign. But once someone actually launches over there from the get-go, we'll have a better idea of, is it better? Is it worse? Is it about the same? We shall see shortly.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a good idea with Kit Carter, because I do have some of the movie posters left, and I'm about 200 copies of the soft cover. And if I just run a short campaign and say, yeah, these are ready to ship, and there's only 200 available, so I might be able to sell them. Because I have inventory. I'm one of those guys, and I remember Billy has a different philosophy, because I remember Debbie, his wife, was like, look, are we going to be comic book publishers, or are we going to be comic book retailers? And she goes, we're comic book publishers. So she was of the mind to get rid of, not carry a bunch of inventory. And I've always been in the mind of trying to be both. So I always would, fill my orders, but then I would order more copies, so I had them on hand so I could put them on my website, and then people that missed out on them could come back and get it at a later date, kind of thing. But you do that over several projects, and you've got a lot of books stacked up in your house. So I'm kind of pushing towards the idea of moving that inventory fast rather than slow.
Yeah.
So I'll try it and see what happens. Because at least I won't have any new publishing costs, right? It'll all be stuff I've already paid for, and it's all just sitting here. So and I can clear out my shipping room a little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this question. Hold on.
When the chat?
Yeah. It was an art question for you. I think it was for both of us. Let me go. I'm probably going right over it, right past it.
Well, I'm going to jump on this one while you're looking. It says, questions for both Aaron and Brohawk. Do retailers back at all, or are they whining that you abandoned them? No, I don't look at it that way. The biggest problem we have is either one, the ComicsGate Association, or two, the guys that will order, the price point is too high. So they have a really hard, like, I had somebody who wanted the Kit Carter books, but they were $30. The soft covers were or are, and he's like, yeah, I can't move them at that price. They would have been better, at like $15 or something, but I couldn't do that because, I mean, I'm not going to charge the backers of the campaign one thing and then like discount it for, people in retail stores. I mean, I give the retailers a discount if they buy in volume, but I tell them you got to sell it at the price. You can't, sell it for $15 or whatever. So that's what scared most. I shouldn't say most. I say any retailers that were interested in carrying our books. That's the problem. Is the price point. So the only way we could get into stores. And it's questionable how many stores we could actually get into, but the only way we could get into it is to break up these graphic novels into 20-page comics and then repackage them that way so they could sell them for $4.99 or whatever is the going rate right now for a monthly book, which is stunning to me to think of a monthly floppy for $5.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the problem there. And then it comes down to, you know, because we still have to, if I repackaged that, I would have to go back to the printer, which is going to cost me, you know, anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000. And it's like, okay, well, am I going to sell enough copies to even break even?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then it becomes like, why would I even bother?
Yeah.
Bassmaster Dan says, I remember when they were 20 cents. So do I. In those scenarios, Aaron, couldn't you just offer extra stuff to the backers that the retailers aren't getting so they can charge less? I suppose, but I don't know exactly what that would be that would satisfy the backers. I don't want to piss off my backers. Because you guys, we couldn't do this at all if it wasn't for you guys. That's a very delicate thing. I don't know exactly what the correct answer to that is. Did you ever find that question, David?
No, but the general question is, someone was asking about, do we do layouts for every single one of our pages?
Well, I would never say every single one of them, because sometimes I don't. But mostly, yes. Because sometimes you get it in your head and you're like, I know exactly what I want to do here. And that's generally more like a splash page.
Yeah.
But panel pages, I got to break them down a little bit to kind of make sure it works before I start putting it on the page. Now, I will say that when I worked in the mainstream, I did not do that at all. I laid the pages out on the finished artboard and just went for it.
Yeah.
Because you don't really have time. I mean, some people would do that, and that's great, and their layouts are probably better than mine. But I focused mainly on clarity and then, you know, dynamics were the two things that I was concerned about, not doing, you know, higgy-jiggy layouts that people go, ooh, that's really, you know, that panel's floating over here and that kind of stuff. When I was in mainstream, because there wasn't time to do that and meet generally my deadlines.
Yeah.
And there's two kinds of artists really in comics. Ones that own a home, have a wife and kids, have a family, and then guys that are just single living in an apartment. And the guys that are single living in an apartment are the guys that can take, you know, 6 months to do an issue. The guys that are paying monthly bills with a family, we got to meet them deadlines. This is a fact. So,
I'm not much of a small layout person, and if I do, it's ineligible to anybody else.
Right.
And for the most part, I'm working out my layout to size, like 11 by 17, and I would ink from those on a light table, because a lot of the drawings come in with light, you know, in the ink. Excuse me. I don't consider myself an inker, and I don't do tight enough, excuse me, pencils for an inker who's not me. So it's a different process for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Neil Adams used to he would do like these 8.5 by 11 layouts, and then they were rough, but all the drawing was there, and then he would blow them up and light table them.
Yeah.
And I did that for a while, and I found that even actually took me longer.
Really?
Yeah, because I was being so freaking tight with.
Oh, too precious with it, with the layout.
When I light tabled them.
Yeah.
And so my solution ended up being doing everything in blue pencil.
Gotcha.
Because then I didn't have to erase the blue.
Yeah, for me, I can't do that because inking over that is all that waxy stuff and blah blah blah. And I know you don't have to erase it because it's blue and blah 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 blah. Blah. I just don't. It looks messy when I do it. I'm not talking about everybody else because when I look at someone like Olivier Coipel and I still see the blue pencil, I go, "Wow, that's cool."
I thought he was doing everything digital.
No.
So he still does traditional.
Yep.
Good for him.
I'm gonna send you some pages. It's gonna blow your mind.
That dude's good. He's of the Travis school, isn't he?
Yep. But I mean, I think he's moved past Travis because, like that book, The Ambassadors, they have a Travis story, and then back to back is Olivier, and you really see a huge difference where people will assume that, oh man, this is like Travis. This is like Travis. He went very much the opposite way of Travis at this point.
Well, that's what I think any really good artist will do is there'll be whoever influences them will kind of dominate their style for a while until they, graduate past it and then move on to making it their own.
Yeah. Hold on. I always mess up spelling his name.
He's a Frenchman.
Yeah.
This is turning out really good. I really like this. It means the price is going up. I think I'm gonna put some gray on this too.
What?
Not today, but I'm kind of in the gray mode right now.
Good. Got to stay in there for a minute.
I know I got to stay in there for another 21 pages at least.
I wish you could talk about that other art that you're working on.
What? Which one is it? What do you mean?
You know.
Huh?
I say, you know.
You talking about the Zorro stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I can talk about it. I just can't show it.
Man.
Well, I don't even think I just did the cover to the second issue, but I don't think it's out. So I can't just, I mean, they've announced that I'm doing it, and the cover to the first issue has been shown, but not the cover to the second issue.
Did you show it on this show?
No.
Oh.
I haven't shown it. I only shown it to you guys. In fact,
No,
I think
I'm saying the art that they did show. That's what I'm saying. You can't show that.
Well, not the interiors because the book isn't out yet.
Are we talking past one another?
I guess so.
I said
about the cover to the first issue.
Yeah, the art that they did show of yours. Didn't they show?
Yeah, it was just the cover, but yeah, I've shown that I don't know, where is it? Are we communicating? Let's see if I can. I got this drawer that I keep all the stuff that I don't want to sell in, and it's freaking piling up on me. So it's not there's only a few pieces in here. There's a ton in here now. I also did a Shadow Man cover. I don't know. I mean, that's been shown too, but I don't know that it.
Wait, of Valiant?
Yeah. But they have all Alien Books, who's doing the Zorro comic. They have the rights to all the Valiant, or they bought all the Valiant stuff or something. So they're doing Valiant books, but I don't know how frequent. But anyway, there's the Shadow Man cover that I did for them.
I didn't see this.
You didn't see this?
No. See you holding out?
You did not see this.
Nope. That's awesome.
This is the other one. The other cover I did was better, but of course they always pick the one that, because it was like all these dead trees in the foreground, and they were all like kind of partially hiding behind these trees, looking out. Yeah, it was way more interesting. This is kind of typical,
yeah.
You know. But the other one was a lot more interesting as an actual design or piece of artwork.
I like that.
Thank you.
How come you don't draw like that all the time?
What do you mean? What? All right, so that's the. It's a little soft, the focus there. Sorry about that. But then here's the.
Wow.
The new Zorro.
Yeah. You did show that before, but I still like seeing it. That's cool.
Yeah, it kind of has a golden vibe to it, doesn't it? A little bit.
Mm-hmm. The black on there is so black.
What did I use on this? It looks like, I think it's the Permapack pen. I think a lot of that is. Some of it, yeah, I think it is. I don't think I filled this in with a brush. In some cases I did, like up in here. I did a lot of brush work on this. You can tell in the feathering, I did a lot of brush work on this. Yeah, that's all brush, which is weird for me because I usually do pen these days, but yeah, this is all brush, or mostly brush. Huh, interesting. Anyway, yeah, so there you go.
Nice. You got talent, son.
I keep working. Aberdeen 7 says the Shadow Man one has come out. Oh. Okay. There you go. Shows you what I know.
You should look it up to see how they ruined it with the color.
I'm almost afraid to anymore. It's like looking up that stuff and just being pissed, you know? And people wonder why we're doing a black and white book. I don't think there's ever been a time, not to say that I never got good coloring, because I have, but I don't know if there's ever been a time where I was wholly satisfied with the final product of a comic book I worked on. You know, either because of, you know, the inking, my penciling, the inking, or the coloring. At some stage, there's like some breakdown that you're not 100% happy with.
Yeah.
And that's as the, you know, as the artist. I mean, most readers will look at the stuff and go, "Yeah, it looks fine." And it does, but you know, you always have a certain expectation as the artist of what you want it to look like, and it just never does.
Mm-hmm.
So we have complete control of this Barbaric Adventures for what our stories look like. And so I think that's kind of the cool aspect about it. And it sort of inspires you to do better work. At least it has me. And the stuff that I've seen from you guys is really good as well. So
I'm going down a web of Olivier.
Are you trying to find something?
Oh, I found a lot. Gosh, this guy keeps on calling. Sheesh. Sorry.
Again, the Permapack is the name of this big, thick pen that I use to fill in blacks. It's really, really nice. And I bought a bunch of them because they're not that expensive, but they're really, really good. And for the pens, I just use microns mostly. I do have some of these Le Pens as well. They're, you know, it's all about the same.
They're French diapers.
Yeah,
Depends.
the depends and depends. John Platt's over in the UK, so he's sending us a £5 sterling. Says, hi, Aaron and David. I just brought myself a pack of Icon graphite pencils for sketching. First time using them, and I really like the results. What's your opinion on Icon? I don't know that I've ever used them. My regular pencils, my go-to, if I'm going for the pencil, is Derwent Graphics. Or it's a little, I don't know if I can get it to focus, but they're Derwent graphic, and they're I use the HB, which is kind of the middle hardness or softness, and that's what I use for more broad drawing. And then I have a I use an HB lead in this technical pencil, and it's a 0.03. So but I do like these Derwents a lot, but I have never used the one that you picked up, so I can't really tell you.
I sent you a couple of Olivier's that you could show.
Oh, look at it. It's Garfield Bizarre Adventures again coming in to troll us, but you're giving me $10, so I guess I'll read it. EVS recently live streamed himself at Atlantic City, gambling on live stream, losing hundreds of dollars at the slot machines at 3 a.m. while drunk. Geez, I wonder why he has over 8 late projects, no refunds. I can't comment on any of that. I didn't see the video, and I don't know what he does with his campaigns. I don't know, Garfield, why you insist on coming into my chat all the time and bringing this stuff up to me when I don't follow any of this stuff. I don't know what's going on. You're better. I know you're just trolling, but I appreciate the $10, but go tell someone who knows what's going on and cares or can do something about it. I don't even know what to tell you, but thank you for the 10.
People.
Well, yeah, I think I'm not going to go off on another.
Yeah.
But
It's not worth it.
Everybody's doing their own thing. I mean, everybody is doing their own thing. This is not a corporate entity. So, griping to me about what someone else is doing is meaningless. It doesn't, all I can do is control my campaigns, and I've been pretty good with them. So, that's all I can say.
Did you see the Olivier stuff?
Where'd you put it, in X?
Yeah, in your direct message.
Yeah. This is his newer stuff?
I don't know how new it's for that Millar World stuff, so it could be.
Okay, I would assume that's relatively new.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously newer than his older DC stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is definitely. I haven't seen any of this stuff, but it looks like he's kind of going his own direction, which is, good. I mean, I think the guy's terrific.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I always have. I like his stuff a lot.
Yeah, the magic stuff from Millar article. Yes. Aaron does want to share with you guys.
No, I'm pulling it onto my desktop because it's easier for me to bring it up. Okay. So this is the first one.
Yeah.
This face, that fake guy's face is really good. His figure work is really good.
If you look up close, you could just see all the blue pencil.
I can see it without even zooming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's actually doing well. Good for him. He's still doing traditional stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because he knows the original pages on there is like $2,500 per page, $3,000 per page. So why wouldn't you do originals?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. It's like that's I never understood. Like, David Finch will do a lot of digital stuff, and it's like, dude, you know how much I mean, he knows how much you can sell his originals for. It's like that's like such a
Throwing away cash.
yeah, I don't really get it. Man, this is really interesting. Like the speed line stuff, how loose that is,
Mm-hmm.
sketchy looking, and then down the last panel where the train is blowing by.
Because when it reduces down, it gets super tight.
Yeah, that's the thing. We get so hyper focused, and I finally told because I would do my backgrounds, super tight, and then like when Matt was inking me, Matt Ryan, he would go in and ink them that way, and everything. Every time I drew a building, it looked like a coloring book.
Mm.
I was like, I need to get some grit and some sort of texture into this. And so I told him to start doing was, dude, I'm going to do this with a ruler. I want you to freehand it.
Mm-hmm.
And when he started doing that, the buildings and stuff came to life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because those perfect imperfections are the things that our eye gleams to. And goes, oh, okay, this feels real. It's tactile. A human's hands behind it.
Right. Okay, let's see. So you can see the Travis influence on the faces, though,
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not there, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not like aping Travis or anything.
Yeah, it's not like he's holding a book open or anything like that.
This last panel down there. These are the kind of panels that kill you as an artist, like these cars down here in the buildings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody cares about, but they take you 10 times as longer to draw than anything else on the page.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this looks so good. And no one cares about a bunch of cars. I mean, you have to have it in there for storytelling and all that stuff, and it takes so much time to do it right. And then nobody cares.
Just for for someone to turn the page super quick. You're like, wait a minute, look at what I did. And they're like, no. Next.
Art of Roy says, I see more Stuart Immonen in Copiel now. That's interesting. I love Stuart's stuff. He is so good.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked at any of his recent stuff in a while, so I don't really know what he's doing at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, people were like, oh, he's just an Adam Hughes clone. It's like, but he took it to another level and moved away. You could still see the influence, but it's more like a commercialized version of it. Like, you wouldn't go to Garcia Lopez and say, oh, he's just a Neil Adams clone. It's like, no. He took the essentials of what Neil Adams did and put it, pushed it a little bit further and made it cleaner. Right.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. Everybody has influences. I mean, everybody does. And you just don't want to ape somebody. Your object is not to draw exactly like Adam Hughes, but maybe take some of the elements of Adam Hughes' stuff that you really like and incorporate it into what you're doing, and then kind of make it your own.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. Look at how we always talk about leading the eye, but look at that last panel, how it's pushing you back towards the left instead of to the right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I only take leading the eye with a grain of salt, because as a reader of comics, which all of us have some experience in reading comic books as fans, you know what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to turn the page and go to the right. So even if the art isn't necessarily pushing you in that direction, it doesn't matter. It's not going to ruin the book. It may be a little uncomfortable visually, but like, I still think this is a great page, even though you could make the argument that this guy here should be going the other direction, right? Like if you, like the first panel is great, but that's what happens sometimes when you have two guys fighting. Maybe the best angle is this guy over here and that guy over there, but then when you get to the bottom of the page, you find the action is going the wrong direction, right? So like if he had flipped this first panel and had this guy firing the other direction, right, towards the right instead of to the left, and then this guy over here firing to the back to the left, then this guy flipped and he's firing to the right going off the page. But sometimes you just, you know, I just don't get into that stuff too much because I've done entire books where I was super conscious of leading the eye and just doing like really what I thought were really interesting things. No one noticed, no one cared. No one ever came up to me and said, man, that was next level what you did on that book. You know, they don't. So it's like, you know, all they care about is how cool the image looks. And that's perfectly legit. And these images look cool. So I don't really give a rip.
Exactly.
If it's leading the eye or not.
That boy's got talent.
So anyway, that's pretty cool stuff right there. And that's Mark Millar stuff, or Mark Miller. I never even figured out how to say that. I actually know him and have talked to him, and I still don't know how to say his name right. Artroy says Immon's on the Magic Order as well. Like he said, he thinks he did the first arc. Oh, well, maybe if I went into a comic shop, I could keep up with this stuff. Balta Saijian says, Aaron, I just looked up your Zorro book and saw that Dan Abnett is writing it. That is correct. He's one of my favorites. It's good. I think you'll enjoy it. So there you go.
What's that behind her? I can't see.
What's on my drawing?
Yeah.
That's like a big old circle sun or something back there.
Oh, I was looking at her feet.
Oh, that's like one of those Frazetta logs.
Oh, okay. I got
windy root system.
Gotcha.
So, all right, we're at 2:30, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. Actually, going to start working on a page for Primal Zone. Since we need to do stuff like that. Let me, yeah, David. Go with David. I remind everybody we got this campaign called Barbaric Adventures, which, to Garfield, the troller in the chat, I do fulfill all of my campaigns and have. So let's focus on that. This one has. It's a black and white 64-page, square-bound, 8.5 by 11 magazine size, kind of reminiscent of Savage Tales or Savage Sword of Conan. And my story in it is Primal Zone, which is a story of a reluctant hero cast in an interdimensional world of dinosaurs and cavemen. That is the very short elevator pitch. David Williams introduces us to the story of a young medieval knight who battles a horde of demons in a quest to become a true warrior. Finally, Dan Lawless takes us to futuristic Mars, where a high-tech society has fallen into savage chaos, and one man leads a rebellion against the corrupt government that's taken charge. And Gary Martin contributes the inside front cover art, and also you'll find a short Freya the Ice Princess Yeti Slayer story in there by me as well. Just kind of introduce the character, give you guys a little idea of coming attractions. So this is one of the first cover you can get is cover A. This is my painted cover. This is this is David, not Dan's. This is David's. This is cover B. This is featuring his character. That's a great painting, by the way. And he actually already sold the original. So how about that? This is Dan's. Cover C option featuring his characters. And of course, we got Joe Justo in here to do Barbaric Adventures and contribute this wonderful cover of Freya, the Ice Princess Yeti Slayer. So if you want a Joe Justo cover, look at that. That's a beauty. And here's some of the interior artwork of mine. These are the 3 pages I've completed so far. David is like the most popular guy in the world today.
All right.
So it gives you an idea of what the interior artwork looks like. I'm really busting my butt on this, so I think you guys will really appreciate the quality in this book. There's one of Dan's pages that's fantastic looking. He even put in his dialogue and captions. So there's 2 things you can get that are exclusive to the Big Barbaric box. One is this 4-print portfolio signed by me in an illustrated envelope. There's a 5th cover that you can only get in the Barbaric Big Box. This is the color rough to that. It'll be a finished painting when it's done. This is the sketchbook, 8.5 by 11, 32 pages, signed by me. The print Snow Hunt, signed by me. This features our Ice Princess. It's being stalked by a Yeti. Barbaric Adventures laser etched shot glass, and then the original art that is for sale as well in this campaign, what we have left. And I'm always putting up new stuff. Like the piece I'm working on today, I'll go up on the campaign. If you keep scrolling all the way to the bottom of the page, you'll see all the rewards that you can get in on. There's the 4-pack plus. That's all 4 covers plus the sketchbook. $120 value for $105. Shot glass covers A, B, C, and D as individual items. Combined orders. Barbaric 1, my cover with the sketchbook, which is signed by me. $5 savings on that. You can get the Barbaric book, the sketchbook, and the Snow Hunt print with a $5 savings. That's $55, normally $60. Or you can go big and get the Big Barbaric box, which includes everything on the campaign, all 4 covers, the shot glass, the print, the sketchbook, and the special items, the 5th cover, and the 4-print portfolio, only available in the Big Barbaric box. It's $210 value for $185. Then we have the original art, what's left. And like I said, I'll be continuing to put more stuff up. And then all the way down to the bottom are the add-ons. So you can buffet style put together an order that you want that maybe I'm not offering as a reward or a perk. And you can also get back issues Wraith of God 1, 2, and 3, Kit Carter, which, of course, I think fully illustrates all the campaigns that I have completed and fulfilled right here before your very eyes. And so you know that you can trust me and Empire Comics to get you a high-quality book when all's said and done. So anyway, there's all your options. I would encourage all of you, if you have not, to please consider backing this project. You'll find a link in the description of this video that'll take you right there. Along with the link is to the campaign is pinned at the top of this chat. If you're watching on X, you can go to my homepage and you'll find a link there to back, or you can run over to Indiegogo, type in my name, Aaron Lopresti, or Barbaric Adventures, and it'll take you right to the campaign. So there you go, guys. Thank you for indulging my sales pitch, and we appreciate you guys joining us. And be on the lookout for this finished piece. I don't know. I might come on tomorrow and work on it some more. Who knows? These last-second live streams are always last second. So anyway, thank you, guys. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate you joining in the conversation. And we will talk to you guys later. Good night.